Her husband had taken her and their kid to the fair when it happened. She'd been doing everything by herself for months now and didn't know how to ask him for help. But when that mime stopped them in their tracks, she knew life would never be the same again. Mime teaches dad a lesson in front of crowd. Being a mom is among the best things in the world. Many people look forward to having kids as they get older, and when the time finally comes, they wholly jump into the responsibility of parenthood. But not everything around raising a child is all smiles and laughter. Granted, the experience is a joyous one. But many will tell you that you need iron skin to bring up a kid. Well, that and all the help you can get. For many across America, parenting comes as a job for two. Some people are lucky enough to have the support of their partner as they venture into motherhood, while some aren't as lucky. But there are those few who, despite having a partner, are forced to do everything themselves. This story revolves around one such remarkable mama and the mime who stepped in to show her husband what a real spouse looks like. Patty Alinsky and her husband Frank were married for 3 years before having their first kid, Jerry. Patty was 32 and Frank 35, and the two were beside themselves when they finally got pregnant. But things weren't as peachy for the two, especially after Patty delivered their kid. What was supposed to be a beautiful experience for the young parents soon turned sour. The couple, living in Florida, was a busy pair when it came to their careers. Frank was a freight plane pilot, while Patty was a visual designer for a video game company. The two rarely stayed at home during the weekdays because of their rigorous professions. But all this would change when they discovered they were to become parents. Patty and Frank had been trying to have a baby for more than 2 years when they finally got the news. Like any parent in their shoes, they were overcome with joy and shared the news with their loved ones. They both took time off work to prepare for the baby's arrival, not knowing what the future had in store for them. The months went by and Patty's tummy blossomed. But she also noticed something that made her fear bringing their baby into the world. While she'd put almost everything on pause to care for her pregnancy, Frank acted as if nothing changed in their life. He still spent hours at work and returned home without a care, not even asking Patty about her day. But it would only get worse from there. By the time Patty gave birth, Frank had withdrawn from his role as a dad. Although he did the bare minimum, bringing in groceries and sometimes helping in the kitchen, he didn't bother to help with their son as much as Patty wanted. He was always away at work or watching sports and playing poker with his friends on game nights. Patty didn't know how to tell him she needed more help with everything. This is where our friendly neighborhood mime would step in. Frank had taken his family to the fair when it happened. As always, Patty did everything to make sure their son was all set for the journey. She packed his snacks, pacifiers, bottles, favorite doll, and diapers in a travel bag, then bathed and clothed him. Afterward, she prepared breakfast for the family, then got ready for the drive to the fair. The only thing that Frank did that day was buy tickets for the fair and drive them there. He hopped out of the truck when they arrived and hurried away to survey the grounds. He didn't even bother to help Patty with Jerry or the heavy bag. Knowing he wasn't coming to lend a hand, Patty did the only thing she could. The mama slung the heavy bag over her shoulder and gently carried her son from his seat. She would have words with Frank about his behavior when they got home. He snapped at her to hurry and walk them across the bustling crowds. He had no idea that his reckoning was just a few meters away. Patty was walking before Frank when it occurred. A towering mime appeared before her, smiling enigmatically as she and her son approached. He waved at her, and Patty waved back, turning Jerry so he could see his first mime. But then the man's gaze shot past her, landing on Frank. He stopped both parents, gesturing to Patty if she was with Frank. When she nodded, he did the unthinkable. The man walked around Patty and removed the heavy bag around her shoulder. He handed it to Frank, tapping his chest as if telling him he should have been carrying it. Frank's face burned red with embarrassment as he accepted the bag. Patty looked at him, knowing how much he didn't like standing out in public places. But it would only get worse from him. Many people around the couple had stopped what they were doing to watch. They roared cheers at the mime after he placed the bag in Frank's hands and reverberated the message that he should help his wife as a co-parent. Although the incident took less than a minute, it would change Patty and Frank's life forever. They would discuss their marital life that night, and the result would leave Patty in tears. Patty opened up about how she felt alone as a mom and needed all the help Frank could give. He apologized 100 times over for being lost in his bubble, assuring her he'd do better. His words would bring her to happy tears that night, while his actions as a dad and a partner would wow her for many years. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.